Welcome back to Nuclear News. Another epic week if you actually understand what is going on in this space. Another average week if you only look at short-term price action, right? Without realizing that these assets are like balls being held underwater. So let's dive into the actual fundamentals of these assets so you can understand the potential, right? Global X Uranium ETF over the last 5 days down 2.27%. The S&P 500 down 2.36%. So a broad-based market sell-off last week. Why did that happen? Well, take a look at the US 10-year Treasury. Ever since the election, it's been moving higher. Even though the Federal Reserve is cutting interest rates, the bond yields are still moving higher. So that makes it very difficult if you're trying to get a mortgage right now. It makes it very difficult if you're trying to get financing on a mine, right? Interest rates are the oxygen of the financial system. They keep moving up, which is very surprising. So if you want to look at what's next for assets, take a look at the interest rates. And guess what? What happened last week? Jerome Powell says Fed isn't in hurry to cut interest rates. Maybe he'll be in a hurry once Trump gets in and starts applying some pressure. But for now, the Fed is not in a hurry to cut interest rates, right? So that's really suppressing the price action of a lot of assets currently, right? So that's what's moving prices in the very short term. What about the long term? Again, these assets are being held underwater, right? Eventually, there will be a reckoning where the fundamentals come to light and the market realizes what's going on. Now, what is going on with these assets, right? Well, we know they control uranium, which is in a multi-decade supply crunch. But what happened this week? Russia restricts enriched uranium exports to the US. So that's just making it more and more difficult for utilities in the West to acquire this scarce resource, right? Current contracting prices are higher than when the spot price reached its 12-month high of $115 per pound. So even with this low volume in term contracting, utilities are signing into the hundreds. Right now, contracting volume is still weak, as covered in a previous video. But what happens when contracting volume picks up, right? It doesn't stay weak forever. That's when the ball that's held underwater skyrockets to the surface, right? But in the meantime, Kazatomprom shareholders approve uranium supplies to China's CNNC overseas and CNUC. Shareholders of Kazatomprom have voted in favor of a deal to approve the supply of uranium to China. The transaction, combined with other agreements, exceeded 50% of the total balance sheet value of the company's assets, right? So uranium is just being gobbled up in the East. Supplies are getting more and more constrained in the West. And then we have this from Paladin. As a result of the lower than expected production results for October and noting the ongoing challenges and operational variability experienced to date in ramping up production, Paladin has determined to revise its fiscal year 2025 production guidance to 3.0 to 3.6 million pounds. Previously, was 4.0 to 4.5 million pounds. So they're revising their future uranium production down by about 1 million pounds, right? And again, wait for contracting volume to pick up from utilities. There just won't be enough available, especially because these utilities are going to demand more and more uranium because of headlines like this. NVIDIA strikes major AI deal at California's last nuclear power plant, right? Microsoft struck a massive deal with 3 Mile Island. NVIDIA is striking a massive deal with PG&E, which controls the Diablo Canyon nuclear power plant, right? There's a reason big tech is carving up the energy grid, right? There is a massive need for electricity. The energy grid is currently insufficient to meet future energy demand, right? So these big multi-trillion-dollar companies are doing everything they can to shore up their nuclear power supply, right? Nuclear power plants are going to have to shore up their uranium supply very soon, right? Google joins the Texas Nuclear Alliance as a founding member, right? Another example of that. And then we have this, industrial electricity prices, including taxes, 2019 versus 2023. So left columns are 2023, right columns are 2019. So they've just been skyrocketing across the board, right? Look at the United Kingdom, just a 123% increase. Italy, 50% increase. Belgium, 81% increase. Poland, 137% increase. France, Germany, massive increase in energy costs. The United States has been pumping out oil, so a decrease in energy costs. But what is Elon Musk's solution to this? Mr. Solar Power, right? What is his solution to skyrocketing energy costs? Europe should be massively increasing nuclear power. The future is going to run on nuclear. The future is going to run on uranium. We're just getting started.